rotting driftwood on the foreign shores, spilling out into the ocean floor, and the memories all you've left without a trace. Paralyzed with the thoughts receding, current sweeps you with the silent bleeding through the heart into the darkest place. Well, turn around, there's nothing to see here. Run away, no reason to be here. It's the ghost who never goes away. Turn around and leave this behind now. You see the ground as it bleeds in the sky now. You fight the sea, you're always gonna drown. All the secrets that you're holding, all the memories you hide, all the frail thoughts that echo in the corners of your mind, they won't even last a moment. They will soon be swept away when the ocean takes you in its arms and carries you away. You carry all your burdens on the cross around your neck. You take whatever's left that you could salvage from the wreck, and the hard past will follow you like a lost dog on the beach, nipping at your trail till you've drifted out of reach. Yeah, turn around, there's nothing to see here. Run away, no reason to be here. It's the ghost who never goes away. Turn around and leave this behind now. See the ground as it bleeds to the sky now. You fight the sea, you're always gonna drown. In the broken line horizon, in the castles made of sand, you tried to hold it in your hands, you tried to understand it. Ocean asks the questions, and it holds the answers too. It dissolves away the lies about the things you thought you knew.
Hello, my friends. 'Tis I, Dame Amager Calirania. My heart and my sword are yours. And 'tis I, Adrelath Karakai II, bastard son of a real bastard. Your hearts are mine. And because it is the weekly Sunday stream of the Sunnydale Imp, we are accompanied by the author, John BloodRedTiger Whitehead. Welcome, my friend.
Hello.
Look, you had another outing adventure this morning, which is part of why we started a little bit later than usual in US time anyway. What were you up
Yeah.
to this weekend?
Oh, I've been to Twistle Mill.
Us and Twistle?
Twistle. It's actually Oswald Twistle.
Oswald's Twistle. Twizzle like Twizzlers? Wait.
I'm Oswald Twistle. Twistle.
Okay.
It's actually a place. It's not actually the name of the mill. There's an Twistle school and an Twistle church.
Okay. So that's...
We have fun place names in the UK.
And what does one do at Oswald Twistle Mill?
Well, I bought a load of pens and stuff.
Ah.
And some Christmas presents. And some badges for certain individuals that say permanently on Santa's naughty list. I know who they're going to.
Yeah, I don't think I've had anything really exciting to talk about from this last week. I've been on a bit of a Deltarune kick. And Deltarune and V Rising. Those are my entertainments for the past week. I picked up
Not
V
V
Rising.
Racing.
What's that?
Not V Racing.
Not V Racing. No. Yeah, I did a stream with Kaylin, the Purple Tigress, at Halloween. She invited me to play V Rising with her on stream. So I picked it up because it was like half price during the spooky Steam sale, and rather enjoyed it. It's kind of like it's like a Path of Exile or Diablo kind of thing, where it's the top-down action RPG kind of thing, but mixed with like Valheim, maybe like one of these kind of survival crafty builder things, and your protagonist's a vampire. So it's a fun mix of genres and concepts, and yeah, I played it with a group of folks from the castle after that, and a bit of it solo. Yeah, enjoying that one. And Deltarune, I played through the chapters a little while ago, but I'm going back and doing all of the like optional bosses and alternate routes and things that I missed on my first way through. So a lot of replays there, and then there's so much content, like fan content for that universe online. There's some amazing animations on YouTube that people have done of different scenes. So a lot of that. But nothing like life-wise that could be like, oh yeah, I went on this adventure this week. Anyway, we are, for the benefit of chat, we are trying something a little, trying a new logistical bit here, where I noticed that poor John was having to type into the chat because I was just so busy nattering on that he couldn't get a word in edgewise. So you all can't see it on stream, but I have his camera up, his like webcam up, and now he can wave at me and be like, "Hey, I got something I want to say." Yeah, yes, John. You go ahead.
That was a test. That was a test run.
Yeah, see, and I did it.
I was
did the
trying
thing.
not to look at the camera myself and get distracted by the little light show going on behind me.
I suppose you could turn it off if it's that. How dare? But yeah. It's John loves to do work with LEDs and whatnot, and there is a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 sort of hexagonal shapes. No, eight hexagonal shapes on the
10 hexagons? 6, 6, 2. 63328. Oh,
Yeah.
there's 8 accents. I thought there was 11. And I made it.
You made it, forgot how many there were. But yeah,
I know that there's 560 LEDs in it. I remember that.
Oh. Yeah, and yeah, so this kind of pattern on the wall with little snaky lighting going on and looping around and taking different turns. So yeah, I can understand about. I'm gonna have to try not to be distracted by it, but I'll be focusing in on the text. So hopefully, I will notice John asking for word edgewise and not focus in on the light show. Right, we are on chapter 57 of the Sunnydale Imp. We are coming to the end of the retrospective of Mickey's life sequence in Giles' apartment. I believe we should get to the end of that this session and move on to back to Sunnydale for more contemporary adventures as far as the time setting of the story.
Yep.
And
to the violence.
Yeah.
Of that violence and into some different violence.
Right. So and in fact, the moment we left off was the end of Mickey mopping up with some antagonistic super types and just picked up a charred leg or piece of charred leg because there was all this fire and the bad guy got cooked. Hello, Roinicorn. Oh, hey, yeah, that's something I guess that was interesting that I've done recently. I was in a playtest of a tabletop role-playing homebrew thing that Roinicorn is working on. I got in voice call with them one week to do characters, and then we played a short scenario, and I was there too. Yeah, because we didn't have any other players available, or Rainicorn was feeling shy about inviting a bunch of people. I just ran with 2 characters, one of them helmed by me, one of them by Adelath, which was a interesting mental exercise for me as well. But I think it actually went pretty smoothly. Like, I had gone in thinking, well, okay, well, we will focus on my character. She'll be the, like, main character, and then, Ad can do his interjections with his character the way he does on Sunday streams, but he ended up in the spotlight more often than I did, actually. Yeah. But it was a good time. Gave Roy some feedback on the design of the game and the jamming style, and I did some coaching to at least temporarily dissuade them from their habit of constantly apologizing for everything. Had the Discord soundboard up, it would make the quack noise and the air horn noise whenever she said sorry. It was fun. I don't know. I can't imagine that we've did enough of that for the habit to kick in elsewhere, but well, now anytime I'm on voice call with you, Roinicorn, that's what I'm going to be doing. All right. To the story then. Okay. Yeah, one thing with this camera in the way, I'll probably be scrolling the window a little faster because that blocks a bit of what I'm reading. You only apologize 3 or 4 times per sentence. Yeah. That's a bit above the international average. Okay. Buffy shot Mickey a sharp look. What was that? Mickey squirmed a bit, keeping her eyes fixed straight ahead. Meat? That was human flesh, a guy's leg. Not a whole one, she protested hotly. Did you eat it? Some of it, maybe. Just a nibble, maybe. It's not stealing if nobody else wants it.
Waste not, want not,
Added Xander dryly. Buffy shot him a glare. Not helping, Xand. Giles raised a hand for order.
I think, given the circumstances, Makisha can be forgiven for a temporary lapse in judgment. We already know that Zaradai imps eat human flesh in their natural environment.
Mickey nodded. I didn't kill the guy just so I could eat him. It's not my fault he got cooked. It just smelled so delicious. The librarian frowned. The imp wasn't exactly helping her own case.
I noticed you made sure Jack wasn't looking. You wouldn't approve, I take it?
Mickey shrugged. Never pass up a chance to eat. Buffy raised a brow at the good advice. You mean you didn't want to share? The imp grinned, revealing her oversized eye teeth. That too. Xander tilted his head.
So, honest question. What do people taste like?
Huh?
What does human flesh taste like?
It's okay, I guess. Why?
No, I mean, what kind of meat does it taste like? Do we taste like chicken?
Huh? No. Why would you taste like chicken? People taste like people. Stop being weird. Buffy gave him a light slap on the shoulder. Yeah, this whole thing's weird enough already. Willow looked a little pale, but had a different question. What happened with the fork at the end there? I thought Dragonide was going to stab you with your own weapon. The Slayer forgot all about Mickey's diet and jumped in. I saw that. That was clever. Mickey blinked, suspicious. Yeah? Buffy carried on. I bet the heroes and villains train themselves to fight each other. Only it's not just punches and kicks. As soon as you teleported, he changed his tactics immediately. He wasn't surprised. He responded like it's something he's fought before. The imp nodded. Yep, and when I spotted that he had the training, I knew I could beat him. Giles was interested now.
I?
Jack realized ages ago that the mutants all had tricks to counter each other's powers. Fire against ice, speed against toughness, flight against force fields, all that stuff.
Fascinating. Do go on.
So Jack did some research, found out what sort of tricks they would use against me, and we worked out counters of our own. Once I spotted that Dragonhide knew how to fight me, I knew how to fight him. I knew that he knew, but he didn't know that I knew that he knew. She smirked. And what he knew was wrong.
How so?
Because it made him predictable. I vanished, and he turned to block the obvious attack from behind. I call it a tele-feint. I let him grab the fork, because then he's got his hands full. Willow frowned. But then you're unarmed. Buffy shook her head. It's a magic pitchfork. Mickey could zap it into her hands whenever she wants. That's right. He jumped down at me with the fork, only he didn't have it anymore. I met him coming the other way, like screech. The imp mimed a jab with her fork, then paused to think. I'm pretty sure his armor wasn't real armor, you know? I think it was manifested, some part of his power. That's why he freaked out so hard when he saw me copying him. Giles made a note.
Might also explain why they never identified the body. They could have been looking for somebody in armor.
Maybe. I didn't really bother too much after that. I was just glad it was over. Buffy narrowed her eyes. Yeah, it's a good thing you can do that healing magic. Yeah. Okay. Buffy pounced. Only you told us you couldn't do any magic in that world. Mickey looked away evasively. Well, I don't really know what happened. Jack didn't see anything either. I think we were both pretty much out of action, and then we were both back to normal. And then Cool Hand arrived. What's his problem? Mickey rolled her eyes. He was the local hero, venting some frustration. His nemesis had heat-based powers and was really powerful, so he couldn't really do anything. Dragonhide? He didn't seem that much stronger. Huh? Oh no, Cool Hand's nemesis was called Sunbeam. Mickey shuddered. She nearly vaporized the whole town one time. Pin sharp text. Gray on white. Silence. Xander almost got up to fix the VCR, but stopped when he realized the screen was still showing Mickey's memories. Progress, suboptimal. Team 0, Iborg support, destroyed. Team 1, Affray support, inoperable. Commander, Dragonhide, damaged by enemy unit primary, affecting self-repair. Specialist, Affray, engaged with enemy unit primary. A second enemy unit was attempting to remove Iborg's trousers, and Iborg wasn't sure how to proceed. Some buried part of his human memory knew that he couldn't let his pants be removed in public, though he couldn't quite recall why. He wondered why he wore pants at all, and decided there must be some tactical value, perhaps camouflage, or some minor defensive advantage. Pockets. Pockets were also definitely useful. He lost sight of Affray's opponent again. A dangerous glitch in his target tracking system. She appeared to be in one place and then suddenly in another. Yuzu's taken aback by the pants talk. He acquired target lock again immediately, and then lost it as his diagnostic systems took the system offline in an attempt to pinpoint the error. His tactical computer was also failing to perform as expected. His programming only covered human and human-shaped targets. He had heard the soldiers refer to his attacker as a dog, and then as a wolf, but his databanks contained no record of those animals exhibiting electrical powers. Unable to identify the thing further, and further hobbled by the continual activity of his diagnostic systems, he had no plan for dealing with his attacker. Oh, you're typing in the chat again, John.
Don't interrupt.
But that's the whole point of the card, though. So that I will break at the next sentence or whatever. Okay. Yeah, I was starting to wonder that too. It's like, why are we getting Iborg's perspective in a retrospective of Mickey's memories, including the computerized overlay text? Yeah. I mean, we've kind of jumped into other points of view here and there, but not during the memory sequence.
That's a subtle horror hint.
Yeah.
This does answer an important question.
Yeah?
Yep. It's also fun, just Iborg's point of view, because he's a bit of a tragic horror character as well.
Mm-hmm. His first idea was to... wait, did I skip something? No. That's right. Okay. His first idea was to blast it with the particle projectors in his wrists. But as soon as he opened the hatches, the delicate weapons were caught in the localized electrical storm and started to overload. Safety systems immediately clamped the hatches shut. A blinking icon indicating both weapons would be offline until they could be serviced by qualified personnel. Oh, I think that indicating is maybe a typo there. Anyway, The buried memories of the man he had once been knew what a wolf was, and the proximity of those snapping jaws triggered a fear response greater than anything Iborg's systems had seen before. He was on the ground and vulnerable. He had to get up. He had to get away. This was not an approved directive, and the computers clamped down on it. Await tactical analysis. Tactical analysis progress 15%. Warning, target lock fail. Reacquiring. Commence diagnostic sequence. He wanted to scream. He wanted to scream and never stop, but as always, the computers wouldn't let him. An external event caught his attention. Dragonhide had successfully removed the weapon impaling his shoulder and tossed it on the ground. Iborg's fragmented tactical appraisal noted a marginal upturn in their fortunes. The armored mutant rolled onto his knees and pushed himself up with his good arm. He worked his injured shoulder experimentally, grimacing horribly as blood flowed from his armor. Afray's opponent was proving a challenge. Tactical models suggested Dragonhide would be outclassed quickly if he attempted to assist in melee combat. Dragonhide apparently had the same thought, and scooped up a fallen man's gun, a matte black shotgun with over-under barrels and a rack of heavy red shells down the side. An alert icon blinked in Iborg's vision. Friendly unit in line of fire. He tried to act, tried to warn the commander, but his subroutines were overwhelmed. The weapon boomed, once, twice, and Iborg's vision fuzzed with static again as he lost target lock on Afray's opponent. He force-cancelled the diagnostic, routing authority to a higher priority notice. Afray was down, cause unknown. He zipped through his optical memory, clicking 3 frames into focus. Afray has just landed a punch, and the girl, enemy unit primary, is dazed, staggering back toward Dragonhide. He aims his gun at her back. Afray is hit by a blast of scattershot. The girl is at her side and catches part of the blast. Dragonhide fires again, and this time the girl takes the full brunt of the shot. The wolf released Iborg and let out a remarkably human-sounding howl of anguish. It turned its back on Iborg and made to run at Dragonhide. Tactical priority: defend Dragonhide. At last, a directive he could act on. Lurching to a sitting position, he grabbed the creature by a back leg and dragged it away from the commander. The snarling beast struggled in his grip, and Iborg had no effective attacks listed in his database, so he simply grabbed a handful of fur and hurled it through the air. It struck the side of the truck with a thud and bounced onto the street where it lay still. Threat neutralized. Iborg got to his feet. His sensors finally clear and his tactical computers running smoothly again. The overlapping diagnostic processes dropped away, leaving him free to operate normally. It was unfortunate timing that there were no credible threats for him to act against. It was also unfortunate that the commander had gunned down his own most potent ally. Apparently feeling the same regret, Dragonhide threw down his weapon and ran to Afray's side. The martial artist was quite resilient and had low-level regeneration. The buckshot had struck her in the chest and soaked her costume with blood, but she had recovered from worse injuries in the past. Iborg turned his attention to the enemy unit primary. She had been struck from the side and smashed to the ground by the impact. She was bleeding profusely and whimpered quietly as she tried to crawl away. The tattered remains of her wings dragged on the ground behind her. "Hello, Rain. Enjoying your morning tea, or whatever time of day it is in your part of the world?" Dragonhide carefully helped Afray to sit up, and the two exchanged a long look. I forget who was voicing the commander. Maybe you?
Yeah, I can do that. You okay?
Asked the commander. You know me, boss. Strong to the finish. Help me up. commander instead turned and issued an order.
Cyborg, kill that thing. Break her neck.
Iborg's inner display confirmed understanding of the directive. He gave a brief nod. Affirmative. He walked over to the girl and reached down. The side of her slender neck was slippery with blood, so he grabbed the front of her costume and hoisted her off the ground. He placed his other hand on the top of her head, ready to twist it around, and instead felt her grip his wrists. The enemy unit was stronger than anticipated, especially in light of her wounded status. The blood loss alone should have put her close to death. The girl's dark eyes glinted with a flicker of green light, and she pulled herself up into his embrace. Her gaze bored into him unwavering. She wrapped her wounded arm around his neck, drawing close. His sensor log glitched again, registering a voice that bypassed his auditory pickups entirely. You're not even using it. The statement had no valid context. He flagged it and moved on. Her attempts to resist him were useless and illogical, and had succeeded only in bringing her face closer to his own. And then she kissed him. Her lips were dark, soft, and surprisingly hot. His own were the pale gray-blue pallor of near death, and barely above ambient temperature, but he felt the contact. So unexpected, completely illogical, so human. It felt nice. He felt alive. With a sudden searing pang, he realized that he missed this. He missed human contact. Dragonhide and Affray treated him like hardware, like a weapon. But he was alive, damn it. He was a man. Jackson Lloyd. The name came to him out of the blue, and he recognized it as his own. Jackson Lloyd, deviser. Genius. He designed the Iborg system as the ultimate modular prosthetic chassis, to revive and augment injured soldiers. So how had he ended up inside it? Computer assistance was intended to compensate for brain damage. Instinct told him that his arms and legs were no longer flesh and blood. Didn't they tell you? You're already dead. You've been dead for months. He thought he closed his eyes, except he knew the bionic optics weren't real eyes. They didn't even have eyelids. So why was it so dark? Why was it so cold? He could feel the girl pressed up against his metal body, clinging so tight he felt the flush of embarrassment. And then he was gone. The Iborg chassis crashed to the ground, inactive and lifeless. Giles stopped the tape, heart pounding. He kept his face away from the others as he tried to process what they'd just witnessed. Makisha, close to death, had defeated her enemy by draining his soul, stealing his very essence to use as magical fuel, and in so doing she had unwittingly absorbed the last few minutes of his memories. I don't remember any of that stuff, the imp cried. What's that doing in my movie? They all sat in stunned silence, until Willow couldn't contain herself any longer. You stole his soul? So how much of that monologue did the people watching get? Apparently all of it. No,
I don't know what it would have looked like.
Yeah.
It's actually taken verbatim from the previous story where that happened.
No, he wasn't using it. He was already dead. But you took his soul, Willow insisted. I mean, it wasn't obvious, but we all saw it. You ate his soul and used it as power so you could heal yourself and Jack. It was an accident. I was dying and Jack was dying, and I don't remember how it happened. I swear. Giles slowly turned to face her. These
are your memories on the tape, are they not?
Mickey bristled. I don't know. It's your tape. Why didn't you ask whoever made it?
It was magically extracted from your memories.
Giles said gently.
Why don't you tell us your side of this? We'd like to understand how this could happen. You said you couldn't steal souls. You told us you never completed your succubus training.
Mickey gaped. That wasn't succubus stuff. I can't do succubus stuff. You kissed him, Willow said quietly, and then he died. I'm not supposed to talk about it, Mickey whined. Jack says it'll freak people out.
He's right.
Xander murmured.
Pretty close to freaking out here.
Buffy, quiet until now, finally spoke up. Just everybody stop for a minute. We know Mickey. She's a good kid. She's a hero. Yes, we've got video footage that looks like she stole somebody's soul, but she says she doesn't remember doing it. She clearly knows it happened because she's talked to Jack about it. She glanced at the imp, who nodded miserably. Do you really think she's been lying to us all this time? I mean, I'm all for treading carefully with the suspicion and everything, but seriously? Xander nodded slowly.
She is terrible at lying.
Willow frowned. What if that's part of the act? What if she flubs the little silly lies on purpose, so we don't catch some kind of big diabolical whopper of a lie like this? Xander was torn. He'd spent several nights curled up with the imp, and he was fine. She could have taken his soul at any time if all it took was a kiss. Surely there was more to the succubus art than a kiss on the lips?
I think that cyborg guy was a special case.
He reasoned.
Like she said, he was already dead. His soul shouldn't have been trapped in there in the first place.
He twisted his mouth in a wry smile.
I mean, succubus training would be pretty easy if all it took was a kiss, right?
Buffy nodded. Yeah, what? No seduction required? No sexy times? What is it we're accusing her of here? Eating that guy's soul or lying to us? Because I, for one, do not care about that guy. Giles coughed into his hand.
I must confess, I'm not especially concerned about the well-being of a superpowered criminal from some parallel dimension, but the overriding question concerns Makisha's ability to steal souls. She tells us she can't because she never completed the required training, but here we have evidence to the contrary.
Xander, Willow, and Buffy all spoke at once, and the discussion quickly turned into an argument. What if it's some kind of defense mechanism? Willow offered. Something Verity put in without telling her. That would mean she's only a danger to people who try to kill her, replied Buffy. I'm fine with that, I guess. I mean, not fine. I can live with it. But if she doesn't know how it works, Willow pressed, that means she can't control it. What if she does it again by accident? What if she eats Larry? Buffy bit back a snarky response, and Xander jumped in.
Larry's not trying to kill her. Come on, she must have been she must have been hurt a bunch of times since then, without eating any more souls, right?
All faces turned to Mickey, but she wasn't there. Giles spotted the front door hanging slightly ajar.
Bollocks.
Does he ever say
Need a
that
Brit
on
to
the
say
show?
bollocks, probably. I'm sure he does.
That's funny. Mickey ran as fast as her legs would carry her, ran from her friends and her problems and her past and everything that could hurt her and make her feel bad. People turned around in shock as she sped past them. The illusion not quite able to conceal her passing, but she didn't care. She ran and ran until she found herself on a grassy hilltop all alone. She slowed to a halt, blinking back tears as she looked around. I know this place, she realized. This is where I arrived. It felt like a long time ago, but she knew it had only been a handful of days. Whatever she was supposed to do or deal with should already have happened. If she'd been sent here with a job to do, there would have been some sign. But there was nothing, which meant she was lost. Lost, cast adrift on a strange world with strange rules, and nobody to help guide her. Again! I don't want to be stuck here by myself. She wanted to go home. Any home. She wanted to see Verity again. These strange worlds were cold and unhappy. She wanted Jack. She needed him. She looked up at the sky. He was out there somewhere, looking for her. He'd have noticed by now, and this time he knew about the soul link. He'd be able to find her, she was sure. Eventually, he'd come and find her and take her back home. Please hurry, Jack. Please. And that is the end of that chapter, the end of our review of Mickey's memories. Ending with revelations to everyone, apparently, including her.
Oh god, no. There is another little bit. Oh, I thought we were done with the videotapes.
Oh, no, we're back to the videotape. Okay, well. Chapter 58 is Howling at the Moon. Buffy jumped to her feet. Did anybody see her leave? Xander and Willow shook their heads. She can teleport. What do you mean, see her leave? No. Giles took off his glasses.
It can't have been more than a minute or two. I'm sure she can't have gotten far.
Buffy frowned, unsure what to do. If I get close, I can sense her, but she's not full of evil at the moment. The range is pretty limited. Maybe she's headed home? Volunteered Willow. I want to chase after her, but what am I supposed to say? I mean, she's free to leave, right? I'm not going to try and drag her back here. Xander looked unhappy.
I think we hurt her feelings. Again. Are we bad friends? Because it feels like we're flunking this whole our friend is a monster thing.
Buffy sat back down. We're not bad friends. This is just a challenging situation. I say we watch the rest of the tape, note down any further questions, and then we'll try to find her later. She might have gone home, or she might be at the Bronze later. Worst case, tomorrow's a school day, so she's sure to turn up. Giles fiddled with the tape player.
It appears the tape's nearing the end. Dare say we can manage a few more minutes without further emotional damage.
The tape is full of psychic damage. They watched as Mickey picked her way through a dark forest and crawled into a hole in the ground.
Imp Cave Mark 1.
Commented Xander.
Gotta say, I prefer the upgraded version.
The underground lair was a single room, a rectangular cavern full of probably stolen loot. Treasure, furs, gems, coins, weapons. Mickey emptied her pockets, tossing handfuls of shiny things into one of the trunks before dropping the lid. Are all of those boxes full of treasure? Willow whispered.
I guess she's been stocking up for something. Oh, here's Jack.
While Mickey is good at getting into trouble, not like the trouble is really dangerous most of the time. Well, I mean, it's probably most of the trouble is really dangerous to, I don't know, a human being. Probably lethal to a human being in most cases, but Mickey's a little bit more than that. It wasn't Jack, just a Jack-shaped statue, crudely carved, set to watch over her as she slept. Hey, Jack, I'm home. Did you miss me? The imp's voice was quiet, but still echoed in the small chamber. The viewers sat in utter silence as Mickey chattered to the statue. She told him about the money she'd saved and how she was planning to save the day if ever there was a disaster. Then she started talking about time. "I'm ready, Jack," she said, staring up at the rocky ceiling. "I've been ready for a long time. It's boring here. Nothing exciting ever happens, and hardly anybody likes me. Well, apart from little Flossie, that little girl I rescued from those orcs that time. You remember I told you about that? Must have been quite a while ago now, because I heard the other day that she's getting married soon." The imp yawned, and the picture went fully black. Her voice echoed once more in the darkness. "I'm gonna rest some more. Come get me soon, okay? I know I keep asking, but I don't know what else to do." Giles stopped the tape quietly. Willow blinked suddenly. That must be the time she was on her own for 15 years.
What's that, sorry?
She says she's 19, but that's because imps are fully grown at 4. And she was alone in that cave, and when Jack finally found her, he said so many years had gone past that she must be 19 years old. She put her hands to her mouth. Oh God, she really did spend 15 years hiding in a cave, waiting for Jack to come and find her. That's so horrible. Giles finished polishing his glasses and put them back on.
Well, the numbers make sense, at least, but it doesn't account for the rest of the intervening time. She's been training alongside Jack for a number of years. That much is obvious.
Buffy nodded. And she's had other adventures, been to other worlds. How many times did she land by herself and have to wait? I don't think she counts the years herself, and if time travel's involved, there's no point trying to celebrate birthdays. She raised a brow at Giles. Does hell even have a calendar?
Nothing you'd recognize.
He confirmed.
They deal with eternities on a routine basis.
So she's never had a birthday. I bet she just remembers her age as 19 because it's easier than keeping track. She's basically immortal thanks to her best bud goddess. There's no telling how old she really is.
Well, how much time she spent in situations like this?
Sighed Xander.
Trying to muddle along in an unfamiliar world?
He stood up and brushed the popcorn crumbs from his pants.
I'm going to check if she's home. Pretty sure she needs a hug.
So yeah, Mickey is basically another example of those anime dragon girls that are, thousands of years old, but in their human shape, they're, look like they're 12 or something.
Only slightly. It's, the dragon, so she's actually 1,000 years old. Well, yeah, Mickey's a lot older than she looks. She's 30.
Yeah, though she can apparently pass for a high school student with the help of illusions and whatnot.
She was fully grown at age 4.
Yeah.
And hasn't changed. Yeah, she's not going to age. She just, but meh.
Time abyss is what the trope is called. Is that the thing with like not celebrating birthdays and all that stuff? Like not keeping track of how old you are? According to TV tropes. I was flipping through TV tropes the other day because we watched Alien at the Halloween party, and I was like, yeah, I wonder what kind of things TV tropes says about Alien. Because especially because I had remembered that there was the kind of Word of God canon, which it turns out was from a DVD extras or something, that character Lambert was transgender. So I was trying to find the reference to that. A huge track of time passes and nobody really remembers how long. Okay, yeah. Yeah, in this case, the time abyss just happens to be Mickey being bad at things like time and numbers. Her brain is the abyss. Yeah, it turns out that Lambert is, like, assigned male at birth and transitioned, but was, like, surgically transitioned, like, really, really, really young, like, before she would have had any say in it, so, you gotta wonder what the story is there, but anyway, Giles picked up Xander's discarded notes and scanned the page idly. He seemed to be most interested in the various super beings Makisha had encountered, and jotted down several curious code names. Perhaps wondering if the comic book heroes of this world had real counterparts in hers? Buffy and Willow were still discussing their best way to soothe the offended devil girl, and paused in their conversation as Giles collected their notes.
One thing we mustn't forget about Makisha is that she is simply not like us.
Both girls frowned at him.
It's quite charming that you see her as another teenage girl, albeit one with extraordinary abilities, but the differences stem from far more than a troubled upbringing. Makisha Nichols is not, and has never been, human. She's never lived what we would recognize as a normal life. She was born in hell, and has been fighting and killing her entire life.
Willow wrung her hands fretfully. It's like she wants to be normal. She just doesn't really know how. Buffy nodded. Sometimes she opens her mouth and says something totally crazy, but then you stop and think, wait a minute, is she the crazy one here? I mean, okay, magic markers, and you should have seen her face when she found out Donuts didn't scream. Seeing Giles' face, she smiled sadly. I'll explain later, it was priceless.
Yes, well, ironically, Willow's hit the nail right on the head. Makisha is a powerful warrior and a valuable ally, but at the same time, she is a teenage girl.
Buffy raised a brow. A teenage girl fighting monsters? Wants a normal life? You know, that does sound vaguely familiar.
Right, yes. But bear in mind, Makisha's coming at the situation from the opposite direction. She enjoys fighting and killing, and is only now seeing a different way of life.
I'm all in favor of getting some work-life balance, and getting Miki on board is my best chance at a full-time slaying partner. I need her on our side. We can't keep dumping on her like this. Imagine an alien. While a time abyss is normally a person, perhaps not technically human, but a person nonetheless. Objects can also qualify, everything from cities to coins. An alien monolith that has been sitting on the moon for 3 billion years. Apparently 5,000 years is the minimum requirement to qualify as time, but okay, that, I don't know. Setting, like, hard year limits on a trope doesn't make any sense to me. This is obviously an echo of that kind of thing. Even if...
I mean, for me, anything that happened more than a week ago is just, it happened prior to now.
Yeah.
That's as much as I know.
Yeah, tropes don't work in terms of hard numbers, right? I don't. That's not what a trope is. A trope is way fuzzier than that. Okay.
Make you think $100 is millions.
Yeah. Okay. Willow clearly felt awful, but had to make her position clear. I keep finding out new things, and none of it makes sense. And the bits that do seem to make sense always come out looking really bad. Giles shrugged.
I, for one, would love to believe that Miss Nichols is a force for good, but at present she's entirely too unstable to be trusted. I can't help but wonder if we've been somewhat hasty letting her know this many of our secrets.
Buffy glared. She's a kid, Giles. She's not a slayer, and she may not be entirely stable, but she's a good kid, and even if we didn't need her help, she sure as hell needs ours. She took a breath. We're going to find her, today, tonight, whenever, and we'll get this straightened out if she'll let us. Willow bit her lip. What if she won't talk to us? Then I'll do the talking. What if she won't listen? Then I'll show her that we care, somehow. Buffy frowned. Hell, I'll kiss her if I have to. Oh, dangling a little bit of Yuri in front of the fan base here, huh? Out on the grassy hill, Mickey was busy feeling sad. She was out of breath, but felt a little better, so she lay on her back and watched the wispy little clouds floating overhead. Yeah, go ahead.
Check your Discord.
At my Discord? Oh. What have I got? Oh, shoot. I need to open the main window back open. Random guy in... Wait.
Oh, passing secret notes.
Okay. Darn it. Now you're gonna make me hold up another window. Okay.
I'll read it out.
Okay. Random guy in next scene is actually the mayor. Okay.
Secret spoiled.
Oh, you said don't read it out. I'm sorry. Often Discord cuts off the first word or the first sound of your sentence, so it really sounded to be like, read it out loud. So I did.
I need a new bubble for secret message.
Okay. All right. Well, I have now rearranged my windows yet again so that I have your secret notes up as well as the camera. Okay.
No, I'll draw your attention to it if I need it. It's just that was one thing. I was like, I need to stop.
Oh, and then I messed it all up. Okay. Well, we now have a new procedure that I need to be aware of. Okay. For the secret messages. All right. Seem to have missed something while he's kissing on the table. Well, I don't know. There was a scene where Mickey kissed an enemy superhero and killed him by draining his soul. So I don't know. Maybe the idea that Buffy would kiss Mickey just like show that there's like perfect trust there. She's like, I know you're not gonna slurp my soul. Yeah. Okay. Jack had tried to explain how they worked and what they were made of, all kinds of science stuff, but Verity said they were magic. Mickey suspected they were both right, but here on this world they were science clouds, made from vaporations and crumbly nimbers or whatever. They still looked pretty though, even if they weren't magic. She was still admiring the wonders of nature when the crunch of grass announced somebody looming over her. Mickey sat up abruptly, and the approaching man held up his hands in a peaceful gesture. And who wants to be the random guy in next scene who is totally not the mayor?
I think you can do this one better than me.
Trying to remember what the mayor... I have no idea.
Building gentleman, maybe?
Okay, Whoa there, sunshine. No need to panic. Mickey blinked. I'm not panicking, she said. I'm just sad. Well, that's just a shame, said the man. He gave her a wan, sympathetic smile and glanced at the ground. Mind if I sit? Sure, it's not my field. Not many people come out here these days, you know. This old ranch has been in my family for generations, but most days I'm busy working in town. No rest for the wicked, as they say. He chuckled, and Mickey smirked. I've heard that, yeah. The fact that her romantic partners were all guys is more of a coincidence than anything. Yeah. Thing of it is, the house is looked after by a pair of old family retainers. A lovely couple. Getting on in years. They called me up and said there was a real mournful sound coming from the hillside here. You happen to know anything about that? Mickey blushed a little. I was howling at the moon, she confessed. In the middle of the afternoon? She pointed mutely at the blue sky, and he looked. Sure enough, the moon was visible, pale but clear. Why, there it is, clear as day. The man smiled again. Isn't that a thing? I drive up over here, half expecting to find some poor injured coyote or some such. And instead I find a cute little lady just brimming over with loneliness. Howling makes me feel better, she explained. I miss my friend, and he always told me if you howl at the moon, it's always the same moon, no matter how far away. That way you don't have to feel so alone. The man tilted his head. Your friend sounds like a smart fellow. Philosophical. I like that, and he flashed her that grin again. I admire your initiative in not waiting till nightfall. I mean, if the moon's right there, why wait, right? Right. You know, on a clear night up here, the moon gets so big you could almost reach out and touch it. Mickey nodded. I'm gonna go there one day, up to the moon. I don't know how, but I will. They'll make spaceships eventually. I'll save up or steal one or something. Spaceships? That'll be a long way off. Mickey shrugged. I can wait. It'll be worth it. The man brushed his knees and slowly got to his feet. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you, miss, and I approve of your long-term planning. Anytime you want to come up here and howl, you go right ahead. I'll have a word with the caretakers, let them know not to worry themselves. Mickey stood up as well. Thanks. She held out a hand. I'm Mickey, by the way. The man, still smiling, reached over and shook her hand. Call me Richard. Ah, yes. Absolutely perfect casting. Adelath is the dick. Right. Mergan's laptop chimed, and he put down his celebratory wine glass to check his email. He deftly flicked through the new messages, and his green eyes flared as he scanned the contents. The news wasn't good. His buyer wouldn't be leaving him positive feedback anytime soon, or ever, and he certainly wouldn't be trying to corner the market when more products went on sale. His bones had been found at his apartment, stripped clean and apparently gnawed on by tiny teeth. Y'all couldn't see it, but John was making little chompy gestures on the camera. The little chompy hands. Of course, you can't see me doing it either, but I do have hand tracking. But anyway. That was a problem. Mergan frowned, considering the implications. He couldn't know for sure whether the ritual instructions had been followed properly. If they had, then it was possible there was a problem with the spell, or with the components, or with both. Oh, she came within inches of hooking up with Faith, and actually was with the woman in the sequel comics. Yeah, I guess that doesn't surprise me. Let's see. He was going to need more research, which meant he was going to need the girl. He needed answers from the girl, one way or another. The 2 videotapes he had were interesting, but extremely confusing. The clips showed him dozens of impossible things. Dragons, robots, laser guns, a city of animal people, ghosts, golems, animated skeletons, all manner of scenes and situations, none of which made any sense in isolation. As a purveyor of forbidden knowledge, this was extremely frustrating. An information broker was only as good as the information he could provide. His contacts depended on the quality and accuracy of his advice, and the idea that there were worlds, entire human civilizations that he knew nothing about, it excited him. To be sure, the humans on those worlds weren't the defenseless prey his kind were used to hunting, but he knew several creatures who would welcome the challenge of a worthy hunt, not to mention virgin territory, untouched and unsuspecting. Besides, he reminded himself, the monsters and super beings of those other worlds couldn't be as powerful as all that. Because, in all the footage he'd watched, the Devil Girl and her companions had emerged victorious. Either they were weak, or the girl was more dangerous than anybody suspected. He certainly wouldn't want to face her in combat himself. Murgon was more of a thinker than a fighter. A general, even. And if he wanted to extract the secret of traveling between worlds, he was going to need more muscle than the local vampires could provide. He reached for his phone. It was time to call in some markers. This wouldn't even be the first morally questionable young woman that Richard has comforted with moral support. He seems to actually be good at it. Yeah, I don't remember the mayor character at all.
Time-wise, this is pre-Faith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this was... We figured out that it was at least early season 2, because we have Snyder in place, right?
Yep.
Probably not much later than that, though. Okay. He was Faith's adoptive father for a while. Sheridan moved fast. A combination of flattery, threats, and fast-talking had recruited 2 not entirely useless junior vampires to her cause, and they trailed in her wake as she ghosted through the tunnels back to her lair. He was not horrible at being, hey, a not horrible adult figure, father figure kind of character in Sunnydale? Wild. She was naturally stealthy, one of the perks of being a vampire, but she was no master, and the 2 tagging along might as well have been shouting. They also weren't really on the lookout for trouble, and so were completely unaware of Angel's presence until they stopped at a heavy steel door, and he decided to make himself known.
Sheridan,
he called. His voice echoed softly in the tunnels as he stepped into view.
I thought you'd have left town by now.
Angel, sneered the blonde, I've got some unfinished business.
Miki,
Angel looked disappointed.
you are looking for her. She's looking for you. You really think you're going to survive a rematch?
She smiled. Do you really think I have the slightest interest in a fair fight? He shook his head.
I don't think you wanted any part of this from the get-go. This was all your sire's idea, and now he's gone. He made a mistake, and he paid for it. You should leave. Make a new start.
Oh, like you. You think I'm going to take advice from the Slayer's second favorite pet monster? Angel winced inwardly, but pressed on.
Keats came here with 2 sidekicks. You keep hiring more vampires to make up the numbers, but it's just you now. Just you, Sheridan. If you go after Miki, that's on you. She'll kill you. Easily. And if she doesn't, the Slayer will. Doesn't matter which, you'll be dust.
But it does matter, don't you see? The Slayer's not looking for me. She's busy trying to keep her new pet under control. Haven't you heard about Willie's place? She walked in there and killed everything. No warning, like a wild animal. So much for the uneasy truce. Where are the demons going to go for their drinks now? You think they're going to sit at home and watch TV? Sheridan almost purred as she continued. And while the Slayer's got her hands full, we can all do as we please. The Devil Girl's doing us all a favor.
Not all. She wasn't doing any favors for those guys at the bar. Buffy might be busy keeping an eye on Miki, but Miki's hunting you.
Sheridan took a step forward, her 2 minions hovering behind like nervous puppies. Listen, Angel, You've got to see the bigger picture here. The Devil Girl's out of control, and I don't think she can be controlled. Sooner or later, the Slayer and her little friends are going to realize that. What do you think they're going to do when they realize the truth? Ask her to leave town?
No.
No. They're going to have to try to kill her. How well do you think that's going to go? Angel frowned. If he was being honestly, it wouldn't go well. If he and Buffy were to work together, take the girl by surprise, they might stand a chance. But Buffy always wanted to fight fair, one-on-one. He could almost see how it would happen, too. A comment, a careless moment, a sudden realization that the imp had gone too far, was too dangerous to trust, and angry words would turn to blows. Mickey would feel betrayed. She'd lash out. None of them would be safe. He turned, fixing the vampire girl with a hard stare.
I'll be watching. We'll be ready.
She'll be too strong. Your precious Slayer won't come away unscathed, that's for sure. You want to risk that?
What do you care?
I hate the girl. I want her dead. I don't care if that means helping you or the Slayer. We do what needs to be done. Quietly. Call in our own allies, keep the Slayer out of it. She doesn't even have to know. She'll think the girl moved on or went home.
You expect me to trust you?
Not really. We're vampires, Angel. Nobody's talking about trust. You see the danger that none of the humans will acknowledge. The Slayer won't do anything until it's too late. Who else is going to help you? Okay, how many chapters is that we've burned through there already? That was 57. Okay, that was 2?
No, we did 57, 58, and that was 59.
Okay, so now we're on
Three.
59. So this is the third one. Okay.
Oh, 50. Yeah, sorry, this is 3.
Yeah, so chapter 59 is Go for the Big Prize.
I'm just flicking through.
Just doing a quick read ahead to see what we're headed into.
Yeah, it's about 2,700 words, this one. It's a standard length. The last one was a bit longer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not in any huge hurry. I know that you're the one on a little bit more of a schedule. You probably need to, what about an hour? Or how is your...
Yeah, about an hour. We're good.
Okay. So, good. We're in... Right. The imp cave was empty, of course. Xander had taken to carrying a small pocket torch for these underground visits, and stashed a second just inside the entrance, so it only took him a few seconds to realize the place was empty, and a few seconds more to determine that Mickey hadn't been back there since this morning. Hadn't she been shopping with Buffy during the day? That could be good, because it might mean she'd left shopping at Giles' place, which hopefully meant she'd be back for it, unless she forgot. Oh yeah, every week John eventually needs to go and prepare dinner, I think is the usual situation, right? So that's...
Yeah, girlfriend needs food.
Yeah, that's been our usual pace. We usually get through about 3 chapters and then we draw down, so... let's see. And speaking of forgotten commitments, Xander was supposed to be helping Giles copy the tape so they could smuggle the player back into school before classes started. Nuts. He'd have to go back. It would only take a minute to start the thing going, but trying to explain it over the phone would be a nightmare. He stood in the middle of the makeshift kitchen, staring absently at the stacked plastic dinnerware. He ran a thumb along the rim of a plastic cup, scowling. This wasn't right. What were they doing? Why were they letting Mickey live like this? In a cave? Surely between them they could find somebody to put her up, or something. Anything. She didn't need much, just somewhere that wasn't a hole in the ground. He would have happily shared his room at home if it weren't for his parents. And, well, his parents. Where had she gone? Where did she go when she wasn't at home? She couldn't wander the town hunting vampires. It was still the middle of the afternoon. If she'd gone down into the tunnels looking for trouble, well, there wasn't much he could do about that. A super strong devil might be safe enough down there, but Xander would be dead or worse in a heartbeat. Or maybe she'd snuck into the school for a swim. That was a much more palatable idea, one he could check on without too much trouble, probably without risking his life. And if he found her, so much the better. Buffy had said interesting things about a tiny black bikini. Xander, you live in your parents' basement. Literally just another hole in the ground. Well. Xander isn't always, top of the list for self-awareness. Since she knew Xander had gone to check Mickey's cave, Buffy quickly settled on the second option, the demon-infested tunnels beneath Sunnydale, where the imp had slaughtered 3 nests of hammocks because she'd heard the demons ate kittens. Honestly, Buffy was hoping she wouldn't find the imp down here. Ideally, this was going to be a quick skip around, touching base here and there, look for little Mickey-sized footprints in all the most likely places, and then get out, preferably without running into anything nasty. Buffy wasn't scared of the local nightlife, but down here she could easily find herself surrounded and outnumbered. With that last thought in mind, she kept her eyes and ears open, letting her Slayer senses alert her to anything nearby that might be of the creeping, slithering, lurking variety. She spotted a shuffling, corpulent figure at the end of a tunnel, just as its piggy eyes locked onto her. It blinked in panic and turned to run, but Buffy closed the distance in a split second and grabbed hold of its coat. The demon thrashed and squealed, reaching for a knife on its belt. Buffy slapped the weapon away and slammed the demon up against the wall. "There's no need for that," she smiled. "I'm just down here looking for somebody."
You're the Slayer?
Asked the demon in a whining voice. "Shucks, you figured it out. You want to go for the big prize and guess who I'm looking for?"
The devil girl?
Bingo. So, have you seen her? Heard any screams, loud noises? Anything that sounds like a bunch of demons getting their spines torn out? The demon, already a revolting shade of green, turned pale.
Not since last night.
It gasped.
I nearly walked into Willie's place while she was doing her thing. I heard the noises and decided to give it a miss.
"Wise choice," said Buffy agreeably.
And then today, I heard what had happened. Everybody's laying low down here, barricading their dens. Safety in numbers.
It hesitated.
Well, not everybody. Some of the more belligerent groups are using the opportunity to attack each other, claim new turf while nobody's defending it. That sort of thing.
Buffy rolled her eyes, like she cared which demons were busy killing each other. So long as nobody came out of it in command of an army that could slaughter each other to the last. So long as nobody came out of it in command of an army, they could slaughter each other to the last, as far as she was concerned. So, Willie's place, what exactly did happen?
You don't know? Some tasty-looking human kid rolls in, has a word with Willie, orders everybody out of the place, and then starts killing anybody too slow to get out of her way.
The demon squinted its sunken eyes at Buffy.
They're saying you sent her.
Me?
Yeah. There's a bunch of rumors, of course, since all the witnesses got inconveniently torn to shreds.
To shreds, you say? My heart bleeds.
I heard somebody say she's some kind of powerful demon lord in disguise, and this is a test to weed the weak and cowardly.
Well, she must have missed you. The thing bristled at that, quivering its flabby jowls.
Somebody even said the girl's been sent by some kind of higher power, a force for good. She works for a goddess, I heard.
Buffy snorted. Close but no cigar. You guys think Mickey's an angel?
Of course I don't think that. I'm not stupid, I'm just telling you what I heard, so that you won't kill me.
The creature truly was pathetic, and Buffy had never seen this species above ground before, and decided it was probably pretty harmless. She released the thing's grubby jacket and stepped back. Go on, then. She nodded down the corridor. Get lost. An angel. She chuckled to herself. Mickey would love that. With Xander checking Mickey's cave and Buffy exploring the tunnels, there wasn't much for Willow to do unless she wanted to randomly walk around town, which seemed pointless. Mickey hadn't shown any particular interest in anything not Hellmouth related, so she was probably at the school, in her cave, or out hunting monsters. Willow also had reading to do, so she'd know it was in the next week's classes, and there was coursework she could be finishing off. Nothing that was due yet, but getting it done early meant she wouldn't be caught short by a future emergency. It was all down to planning and proper time management. That and not rushing around without thinking. Xander, of course, had haired off after Mickey without a moment's consideration beyond maybe she went home, and now Giles was looking at the video player like it was chock full of angry snakes. Willow shook her head and went to help. I think we just need to rewind the tape, start the VCR recording, and then start this one playing. Xander already made the connections. The librarian gave her a grateful nod.
Ah, righto. Good then. Sounds painless.
Ironically, the powers that be don't tend to use angels, they use demons like everybody else in the Buffyverse. Well, I mean, if demon in the Buffyverse is a term for an extraplanar creature of what other kind, angels are another kind of demon, right?
Nikki would agree. They've just got better PR.
She gave him a shrug. I think we should do a few minutes first and then watch it back to make sure it's working. Otherwise, you might waste an hour and be none the wiser.
Whatever you think is best.
She started the copy and shared a cup of tea with the watcher while they, watched. I wonder if this is the only tape, she said. She could have been on that machine for hours. The guy might have walked away with a bunch of her memories. Giles shrugged sourly.
He's welcome to them for all the good they'll do him. The scenes on our tape are so incomprehensible, I wouldn't lose sleep about them going public.
Willow chuckled. Everybody would assume it was all special effects, like maybe some student's demo reel.
Watching without context, all it tells us is that once upon a time, Mikisha Nichols experienced some bizarre encounters. The names and faces could be useful reference information for a summoner of sufficient power, but most of the individuals we've seen were mortals, or nearly so.
What about the pattern theory? Do you think any of those people have copies in our universe?
Without their mutant powers, they'd just be normal humans, and most of them wore masks to prevent identification. Mikisha herself couldn't have a parallel, because without Jack's intervention, she would be a normal Zaradite imp.
So... He gave her a gentle look.
Zaradite imps don't live very long. And to the best of our knowledge, Mickey's evolution occurred a long time ago.
She nodded somberly. What about Jack? Could there be a Jack Gray in our world? Giles laughed.
Which version? 2 legs or 4?
Willow tilted her head. I suppose it depends on how he became, I guess? Is he a man that turned into a wolf? Or a wolf that turned into a man?
The latter, according to Mickey.
Well, I can't see that happening in our world. So if that same wolf existed here, he was probably just a normal wolf his whole life. Giles shrugged, imagining the fate of a wolf that walked and talked like a human.
I can't help but imagine that's for the best. Who does Mergon? Do I do Mergon?
I think you've been doing Mergon, yeah.
Animals with the forms and faculties of men.
Mused Mergon.
He must have been part of some grand experiment. A mutant hybrid army, perhaps. Who made him? And how?
He smiled to himself, imagining the possibilities. Even the humans would pay dearly for that kind of information. Xander found no sign of Mickey at the school. He walked the grounds, peering in windows, even calling her name once or twice. Not too loud in case somebody else heard. Hopefully her super sharp hearing would pick him anyway. He was sure he'd have spotted something by now, unless she was in the changing rooms. And why would she be? He put down his disappointment at not finding the devil girl in her swimsuit and realized, belatedly, that she'd probably have worn it for him in the cave if he'd just asked. Hell, she wasn't exactly shy. Being raised by a wild animal probably didn't instill modesty. And if he could stop putting his foot in his mouth every 2 minutes, maybe he'd realize how close he was to every teenage boy's dream. Cute girl who'd stripped down on request and only wanted friendly cuddles in return. His panicky attempt at chivalry had insulted her, and he could understand why. What was he thinking? Cursing his own stupidity, he hoped she was okay, wherever she was. At that moment, Miki was lying on her back, trying to spot rude shapes in the clouds. She had quite an active imagination, and had seen all manner of weirdly shaped creatures, so with a bit of squinting, nearly every cloud could be interpreted as something unsavory. The last time she'd played this game had been with Verity, and the blonde goddess hadn't been above manipulating the clouds into some very unusual formations. She'd also been quick to remind Miki that a goddess of love and creation knew all about the relevant body bits. Miki sighed. Verity was so smart and so powerful, and pretty, of course, but that was just the way they'd made her. More than anything, though, Verity loved. Even the bitterest, nastiest people in her world knew, in their heart of hearts, that Verity had created them, and that she loved them. Miki missed that feeling with a painful ache. After basking in Verity's physical presence, every other world felt cold and colorless, like the warmth couldn't reach her here. But that couldn't be right. After all, how else could Miki have gotten here? She blinked and frowned, on the edge of some kind of mental epiphany. Verity could travel between worlds. That's how she found the coolest people and places, to copy, to study, to fold into her own universe. If Miki could just send her a signal somehow, Verity would spot it. She'd find her and bring her home. Or maybe send her to wherever Jack was. The imp sat up, eyes wide. She had a plan. A proper plan. It was vague, a few important gaps, but it was simple. She paused just for a moment to admire her new sneakers, because they were awesome. But then she leapt to her feet. She had a plan. She narrowed her eyes, thinking hard. First things first. She would go back to Giles's place and pick up her shopping. Hopefully, by the time she got there, everybody would have calmed down and stopped arguing.
Miss Nichols?
Giles yanked the door open and leaned out, looking up and down the street as thought he expected somebody else to follow on her heels. She was alone, of course, so he stood back out of the way, inviting her into the house without actually speaking the words. Mickey smiled and stepped inside. Inside, the house was empty and quiet, apart from the quiet sounds of the memory movie on the telebox. Everybody's left?
Yes. They went looking for you.
Oh, I didn't feel like sticking around for the argument, so I went out and watched some clouds instead. Already, forgetting the howling at the moon part. Or declining to mention it, at least. Mickey wandered into the empty lounge and stood watching the TV. You're watching it again? She asked, curious, as Giles followed her into the room.
Well, yes and no. I'm making a copy, which requires playing it through again, but also, well, it is fascinating viewing.
Mickey shrugged and flopped into a chair. I guess. I suppose it all seems pretty crazy, though, from the outside. The librarian chuckled.
That's rather an understatement.
Well, making note of your questions, I can explain anything except the Iborg thing. That's the first time I've seen any of that, I promise. Giles raised a brow.
I believe you. First, I wasn't sure if your reaction was fear at being caught or something worse, but I believe you when you say it was an accident, and I believe you when you say you don't remember it happening.
Oh, well, thanks. That's good. She tilted her head. And you're the guy in charge, right?
Perhaps nominally. Are you concerned that the others may not trust you?
It's easier when we're all friends. I was hoping they'd have worked through it by now.
So you came back to watch the rest of the tape?
No, I came back from my shopping. Oh, and I should probably tell you, I'm going to take some of the bad magic tonight. I need it for a project.
Project? What kind of project?
It's a secret, but don't worry. If it works, I'll be gone soon.
You're leaving? Leaving Sunnydale?
Mickey nodded. Well, yeah, and hopefully this whole world. No offense.
Oh, none taken. I'm sure you have plenty of adventures waiting for you somewhere.
The imp shrugged. Yeah, adventures are fun, but I think I just want to see my friends again. I know I'm a badass warrior and everything, but sometimes I need a hug. She glanced at him nervously, and his heart skipped a beat. Is this it? His mind raced. There was absolutely no way she could steal somebody's soul with nothing more than a hug. And if he was wrong? If she could? Well, there was nothing he could do to stop her.
I understand completely.
He stood and held out his arms awkwardly.
In the meantime?
Mickey jumped up and ran to him, throwing her arms around his waist. Giles, having experienced the occasional Slayer hug, tensed himself for a crushing, but the girl was surprisingly gentle. He set his arms around her narrow shoulders, careful not to hurt her wings.
I really think you should reconsider dealing directly with Sunnydale's ambient magic.
He said quietly. I know, she replied, muffled by his chest, but I gotta.
He said quietly, deliberately avoiding saying the word hellmouth. You missed the meme as well.
The meme?
The to shreds, you say. Farnsworth from Futurama.
Oh, I don't know Futurama. Moth has watched most of it, I think, or all of it, but I've never watched it. I've seen a few odd clips, but not that
That's
one.
why he's sending the team to a planet to deliver something. And it's like, well, what happened to the last crew? To shreds, you say?
Gotcha. Okay, well, that actually went pretty quick. We got time for one more?
Yeah, that went super quick.
Code Back. Chapter 60, Code Back.
How have I spelled the title wrong?
Impressive.
Holy mackerel. Code Black.
Code Black. I kind of figured that was it, but that's funny. Okay.
Oh, I'm cringing so hard that hurts.
Giles ended the hug with a nervous yelp and gently pried the imp's hands from his bottom before stepping back. She blinked up at him with wide eyes. What? It's not my fault you're so tall,
Perhaps less of the squeezing next time.
he suggested. Mickey smirked naughtily. Spoil sport! She toddled off to the kitchen to fetch her shopping, and Giles eyed her bags curiously.
I must say I'm a little surprised at your purchases.
Mickey raised a brow. I'm shopping responsibly. These milk boxes don't need to go in a fridge, and I got a good deal because I got loads at once.
I was remarking more on the fact that you managed to drag Buffy into a store selling something other than clothing and shoes.
The imp grinned and pointed down at her own feet. We did get shoes. I bought these. Aren't they awesome? He blinked.
Oh. I assumed you didn't need to buy real clothing, thanks to your powers.
True, but Sheridan's holy water trick melted everything I had on, remember? I had to fight those vampire frat boys practically naked.
Probably an advantage, all things considered. I imagine they were rather distracted.
I'm used to providing a distraction in battle, but not like that. Giles perked up a little at that, and Mickey noticed his reaction. You want to ask me more questions? She guessed.
Well, if you can spare some time.
She narrowed her eyes, preparing to drive a hard bargain. Do you have any food? Giles made toast, and they chatted more about Mickey's adventures. It was, she decided, an acceptable compromise. Angel lurked in the dark, watching the creeping shadows as the sun began to set. Slowly, so slowly, the bars of his metaphysical prison would fade, and then he'd be free to roam the streets in search of prey, alongside every other vampire in Sunnydale. Most nights his prey would be other vampires. Tonight, though, was different. Tonight he had serious misgivings. He hunted vampires to help ease the burden on Buffy, to help her, to keep her safe. Tonight his motives were the same, but the plan felt wrong, immoral and underhanded. But then he reminded himself he was a monster. If monstrous acts were required to protect the girl he loved, he would do them. Gladly, if not proudly. He had accepted Sheridan's plan readily enough, but he hadn't counted on spending the rest of the day reflecting on it. Angel was a monster with a soul, cursed with a conscience, and it grated on him that the only person who might truly understand that burden was probably going to die tonight. If not by his hand, then certainly because he played his part. He wasn't sure he could go through with it. Worse, far worse, was the certainty that if Buffy ever found out, he'd never be able to make her understand. This, of all things, might be the hardest sacrifice he would ever be asked to make. At last the shadows were deep and dark enough, the sun a mere orange fuzz on the horizon. Angel tore into the open. Using his supernatural speed and stealth, he sprinted across town toward the school. Nikisha's cave was still a secret. He hadn't told Sheridan that he knew exactly where the Devil Girl slept, only that he knew where to find her. The plan was simple, an ambush. Following the destruction of her sire, Sheridan had gone crawling to the Anointed, offering results in exchange for manpower. Sheridan herself would be the bait. Angel just had to bring the girl. Arriving at the cave, he reached out and confirmed that the magical barrier was still in place. He bit back the instinctive snarl of frustration. Monster lairs couldn't be homes. It just wasn't fair. And instead called out her name softly.
Mickey, are you home?
There was a faint rustle inside the tunnel, a flicker of movement, and then the girl materialized right in front of him. He jumped back, baring his fangs in shock, and she rattled an earthenware jar at him. Hi there! Want a cookie? Angel blinked.
Do they have blood in them?
No. Ew.
Then I'll pass.
Mickey nodded and crammed a cookie into her own mouth. Are you looking for Buffy? She mumbled, spraying crumbs.
No, I'm looking for you. I've been looking for Sheridan, and I found out she's got some big plan.
That sounds bad.
Yeah, she's going to try to unite several demon clans, get them working together and take over the town. There'll be a big meeting tonight. I know where, but I can't do it alone. I figured you'd want to be there, take her down yourself.
Mickey gave him a feral grin. Yeah, usually I smush bad guys just because, but she's really got on my nerves. She cracked her knuckles, and there was a shimmering effect as her outfit transformed to a dark jacket and pants. Let's go. Angel nodded and turned to leave. Go where? Buffy stood in the cave mouth, arms folded. Angel was close to panic. Makisha had relayed the news to Buffy while the pair nibbled on peanut cookies. Well, Buffy nibbled daintily at least. Mickey seemed to think taking more than one bite was a waste. Suitably informed, the Slayer naturally wanted to tag along and get her sleigh on.
It'll be dangerous,
warned Angel. Seeing her frown at the implied insult, he added,
You can't teleport out of danger like me.
Neither can you, she pointed out, and you're still going. Angel hesitated, and she reached up to slap his shoulder. It'll be fine. The three of us can handle anything Sheridan can throw at us, right? Mickey pumped her fist. Yeah! Angel had no choice but to lead them both into the trap, barely holding his nerve the entire time. The best he could do would be to hold Buffy back while Mickey charged headlong into battle. If they killed the girl quickly, he could drag Buffy away as a tactical retreat. It was all he had. It'd have to do. Sheridan felt like a queen, preparing for her coronation. She'd talked around several demon clans, she'd begged the Anointed for help, and even called in a favor from Murgon. The green-eyed broker had insisted she take the devil girl alive, but Sheridan had every intention of disappointing him. He'd get over it, and she'd let him take what was left of the body, to chop up and sell his spare parts or whatever it was he was up to. The Anointed had grudgingly lent her a dozen vampires. Most were still wet behind the ears, but a couple were competent veterans with combat experience. Those two she kept close, as much to keep an eye on them as to benefit from their protection. She didn't trust the Anointed, or his lieutenants. The Anointed looked like a child himself. Doubtless he would find some reason to spare the devil girl if he ever met her. He'd probably try to recruit her, or something equally repulsive. The trap was set on the field of the local college football stadium. Sheridan's own vampire henchman had dragged a podium into a prominent position where she could address the assembled demon clans, ostensibly to rally them to her cause. Around the field, several minor clans of demons were present in their entirety, keeping their distance from her and from each other, acting as though they didn't trust each other. Well, not acting as such. They were demons, after all, and cooperation didn't come naturally. The podium was positioned with a commanding view of the stadium's far end, where Angel would lead the girl. From there, the hated devil would have to run the gauntlet through the assembled demons. Sticking to the plan, Angel led the girls up the back of the stadium and out onto the highest tier of the seating, where they had a good view of everything below. Buffy's Slayer eyesight easily picked out Sheridan and her circle of vamp goons. They were easy to spot, because they were the only human-looking things out on the field. Half a dozen stood close to her, awkwardly clutching swords and axes like they'd never held a weapon before in their lives. The rest of the field looked far more menacing. How the hell did she get this many different groups together in one place without anybody noticing? She wondered quietly. I mean, look at them. Mickey did, taking in the scene in amazement. There were so many different kinds of monsters down there. She saw some lumpy-faced guys with shaggy manes like lions. Some looked like they were stitched together from rotting meat. Some looked almost human, except their skin was weirdly dappled with bright pastel colors. There was a bunch of tall lizardy-looking guys who reminded her of the snake demon, but thankfully these were a two-armed, two-legs variety. And lurking off to one side, there was a small group of fat, green-faced, globby-looking monsters. Buffy let out a low huff of amazement. Surely she doesn't think she can unite these guys. Angel shook his head.
Not without a common enemy.
Buffy rolled her eyes. What, me? But he glanced instead at Mickey.
Her.
Buffy frowned, but Angel continued.
A couple of days ago this wouldn't be possible, but she's got them all scared. Demons aren't used to being frightened.
They're frightened of me, pointed out the Slayer.
You're an acceptable risk. Predictable. Expected. And most of these idiots honestly believe they could beat you if they got their chance.
He tore his eyes away from the imp.
They know you're the Slayer, but in their eyes, you're still human.
Mickey tilted her head. So they're scared of me? Actual monster gangs are so frightened of me that they might team up? She frowned. I can't decide if that's cool or not. Probably a bad thing either way. How do we stop it? Buffy shook her head. That's way too many demons to fight head on. We need a plan. How about we just kill Sheridan? Suggested Mickey, and Angel nodded.
Cut off the head and the body will die.
Mickey looked at him funny. I thought she turned to dust. Angel groaned.
It's just a saying. It doesn't specifically mean vampires.
Seems pretty obvious, really, unless there's some hidden meaning. She turned to Buffy. Did you know that disarming somebody doesn't mean taking their arms off? Yes? Huh, well, I know that now. You've never heard so much complaining. Angel was in no mood for Mickey's nonsense.
I mean, if you kill Sheridan, the rest will scatter.
Duh, that's why I suggested it. I mean, that's why we're here, right? Wrecking her plan is just a bonus. The imp patted her pockets. I don't suppose anybody brought a crossbow? Buffy grimaced. I've got a steak, a spare steak, and a knife. Angel?
Nothing.
Mickey squinted, miming a throw. I bet I could get her with my fork from here. No. Buffy grabbed her arm. Not that. I'll think of something else. Why is she objecting so bad to a thrown pitchfork?
She doesn't like the evil fork. Freaks her out.
Oh, right. It sets off her Slayer sense really bad, yeah. Well, there's plenty of sharp, pointy things down there. We'll just take what we need from the bad guys. Angel leaned in close.
I suggest you challenge Sheridan directly, one-on-one in front of everybody. A sound defeat will show the demons that our plan was doomed.
Buffy shot him a sharp look. That was a terrible plan, and he knew it. He gave her an apologetic shrug.
It's the best I can think of in the circumstances.
Mickey stood up. It's good enough for me. Operation Head Removal is a go. Okay.
I do this guy.
Okay.
If this ambush succeeds, the Anointed will be pleased.
Sheridan didn't bother to acknowledge the speaker. Andrev, one of the Anointed's enforcers, had been sent to oversee the plan, and Sheridan was certain he'd betray her and claim credit for himself if it worked.
Of course, if the girl escapes you again, the Anointed will be displeased.
The vampire spoke with relish. He probably knew what form the displeasure would take, and had instructions to deliver it himself. Sheridan shrugged. If the plan failed, it would most likely mean she was dead. The devil girl was a predictable little beast, too aggressive to turn tail and run away from a fight, and as Sheridan's bodyguard, Andreev would hopefully be between Sheridan and the girl if it came to a fight. I'm not doing this for the anointed, Sheridan murmured. I'm doing this for all demonkind.
Bullshit.
Chuckled the older vamp.
You're doing this out of spite and a thirst for vengeance. Doesn't matter what your motive is. If you pull this off, you'll receive everything that was promised to your sire. All of it. Remember that before you consider running.
Sheridan scowled. Everything that Keats had negotiated from the anointed. Wonderful. Of course, the wrinkly old shit had never actually told Sheridan what that was, and now he was gone, taking his damned secrets with him. Hopefully the old bastard had asked for something useful, but knowing her luck, it was probably a harem, or some equally sleazy waste of time. And she couldn't exactly ask now, not without looking like an idiot. She could be risking her own life for a bag of chips and she wouldn't know it. If she gave away her hand, they'd be free to change the deal and she'd have no way to contest it. I don't suppose I can get that in writing, she drawled.
Too late for that now.
He grunted, pointing.
Intruders, right where the traitor said they'd be.
Sheridan smiled and felt the heft of the microphone in her hand. The trap was set. All the pieces were in play. A few seconds more, and she'd have her revenge. The girl teleported from the bleachers to the pitch, appearing in a flash of green fire as her clothing changed into some kind of commando outfit, all padded leather and armor plates. She wore a small mask over her eyes beneath a black beret.
Quite the tiny little badass,
commented Andreev. They watched the girl walk past the demons, giving them a glare as she did so. They knew who she was despite the costume, and they shrank back, keeping their distance. Until the girl reached the center of the pitch. Sheridan raised the microphone and shouted, "No! Kill her!" The girl froze as the assembled demon clans raised their weapons and let out a unified roar. Sheridan laughed. Buffy watched in horror as the demons rose up and surrounded the imp. Oh, God! She started to charge down the stairs, but Angel caught her arm. No, he hissed. There's too many. I have to help her. It's a trap. I can see that. She shook free of his grasp and glared at him. She needs my help. Our help. The vampire shook his head, grappling with a surge of guilt. What was he thinking? He couldn't let the girl die like this, alone and betrayed. Buffy's eyes burned into his, and he gave a reluctant nod. We stick together. Remember, Mickey can teleport if things get rough. Buffy gave a short, incredulous laugh. If? Mickey danced among the horde, chortling as she ducked, dodged, and blinked away from their vicious attacks. So far, only the bravest, or stupidest, had dared to swing at her, and even they were still wary of getting too close in case she started smashing them up. Like this, she thought, stomping on the back of some lizardy thing's ankle and driving it to the ground. More monsters closed on her, hoping to strike while she was busy, but Mickey was well accustomed to fighting superior numbers, and teleported away to find a new playmate. She elbowed one of the lion guys in the throat, snatching the sword that fell from his nerveless fingers. She swished it experimentally, admiring the shape and heft of it. It would be perfect for chopping off Sheridan's head, if she ever showed herself. Mickey turned this way and that, but couldn't see where the vampire had gone. She'd lost her bearings at some point, and now the crowd of burly monsters were keeping her from her objective simply by being big and ugly. Everywhere she looked, there was a new target, waving their weapons or claws and trying to look scary. They thought they had her trapped, which did wonders for their confidence, but she was armed now, and none of them wanted to be the first on the chopping block. Also, she wasn't as trapped as they thought. She let two of the beasties run at her, jabbed her sword into one, and then blinked straight upward into the air. She spread her wings and burned some power to snatch a split second of hovering while she took a look at the battlefield. Wow, that's a lot of monsters, she thought. And hey, here comes Buffy. As she started to drop, she caught sight of Sheridan at the far end of the pitch. But the monsters were moving to intercept Buffy and Angel. Her friends were running to help her, so she let out a yell and teleported down to meet them. She appeared right in the path of the lizard guys and knocked the nearest flying with a spinning back fist. Back off, you uglies! They didn't, of course, and soon enough all three heroes were fighting a swirling melee on all sides. It was kind of fun. Buffy was not having fun, and Mickey's constant taunting was starting to wear thin. The girl was holding back, obviously enjoying herself immensely, but Buffy could see they were in a bad situation. Sooner or later somebody would get hurt, and their defensive formation would collapse. Whoever dropped their guard first would be torn to shreds, and Mickey wasn't even trying. Buffy had picked up a fallen sword, and Angel was using a brutal-looking flanged mace to great effect. Buffy kicked her nearest opponent to the ground and scooped up his weapon, a short, brutal-looking battle axe. Mickey! She yelled and tossed the weapon in the girl's direction. The imp grabbed it out of the air, one-handed, and swiftly crushed the skull of one of the rotting baddies. Thanks! She called back. Buffy grimaced. Why wouldn't she take the hint? She took a breath and shouted, Mickey! Code back! Code black!
Oh, that was mean.
Code black. Yeah. All right. Chapter 60 down. 17 left to go. Oh. That was a pretty solid session. That was, actually 4 chapters in the span of 2 hours. Motoring along.
Yep.
Imagine what happens when I don't have anything that I can yammer about for half an hour at the start of the stream.
Do you want to stop the story there and resume yammering?
Right.
Wow, I've got so many spelling mistakes to fix in chapter 58.
Yeah, there were a few of them this time. That's all right. Sometimes we have stretches where they're all pristine, so it balances out. So this is like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer Muso video game here, the like hordes of monsters that are sort of just sending flying in big clumps. Any teasers that we should look forward to for next week?
Yeah, Code Black mode. Mickey stops pissing around and playing with them, and it's just okay. Just slaughter everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not great.
Okay. Lots of blood and gore and guts coming soon. Stay tuned.
Yeah, there is a rule to Code Black, which is a little chant that she does.
Oh no.
Code Black, cold and fast, smooth and deadly. No escape, no surrender, no survivors, no witnesses.
Oh dear. Well, I hope there's nobody making out in the bleachers tonight. Like behind the bleachers.
And the chapter is called Not Today.
Not today. All right. Well, you can look forward to that, friends in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for your attention and presence, as always. We we peaked out at 7 viewers, so there must have been some lurkers from who knows where who dropped in. That's interesting. Well, no, I don't like Code Black doesn't mean that Mickey just murders Jack. So no, she's not going to kill Buffy and Angel.
She says it and it sounds horrible, but it is clarified later. as is pretty much everything in this story. Every weird thing does mostly get explained. I seem to be saying that a lot. It does get clarified later.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing is just lampshaded. It is all explained.
Uh-huh. right. Well, I do not know yet what my streaming plans are for midweek. We always try to get a Nier Automata stream in. This last week didn't happen because the night that Moss was available, they were feeling unwell, so we skipped. But we will see. You know where to find me on the socials over at vtuber.house and in various discords. Until next time, my friends, live with honor, and your heart is unassailable. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
I don't have anything lined up. Wait. I thought of the thing.
John's forgot to sign off this time.
Ray went absolutely blank.
See, it's easy for me. I just say the same thing every time. I just have catchphrases.
If you can't solve the puzzle, you are the puzzle. There you
There
go.
we go.
Wisdom.
Let me go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly. Let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender. Let me go on a new adventure. Space, explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away, we won't see another day. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender. Let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. You'll find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Don't call me up when you're feeling blue. You'll find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Let me go. It's a new adventure. It's a new adventure. I will surrender. On a new adventure. I will surrender. Let me go on a new adventure.